Hello guys, good morning. How are you doing this Wednesday morning? Hope you are all doing good. Wow, this is your girl Irene, and I'm here this morning to give us a story that I'm sure many of us can relate to it. And it's titled Tunde the Big Boy. Tunde the Big Boy. So I got this idea from a series I was watching, and in that series, you'll see this guy Tunde was living with his uncle, and the uncle, was a very good man. He wanted him, to actually, further his educations or even get his skill, acquired as well. But unfortunately, Tunde was this kind of layabout, this sort of, my uncle have money, why should I bother kind of person. And so he decided, to just be, walking around, laying about and generally wasting his life. And the unfortunate thing in all this is the uncle's wife was a very mean woman. She was this kind of woman, that, only regard people with a sort of background or a kind of, academic level, or someone that, is, up there. And since Tunde refused, to better his life, the uncle's wife now, you know how it is now turned him to a kind of boy. So if there's washing to do, she will say, Tunde, have you come and do the washing? There is a market to go. She will say, Tunde, I need you to go to the market, and or have you washed the car? Come and drive me. She just was using the guy here and there. And so it got me thinking that in a way you can't really blame this woman because it was Tunde's fault, in a way that if he had bettered his lot, he wouldn't have, the uncle's wife wouldn't have had this chance to, be running him up and down as she was doing. So it now brought me to this place in Galatians 4. Galatians 4, we are going to read from 4 to 1. It simply says, what I am saying is that as long as an heir is underage, he is no different from a slave. Although he owns the whole estate, the heir is subject to guidance and trustees until the time set by his father. So also, when we were underaged, we were in slavery under the elemental spiritual forces of the world. But when the time set had fully come, God sent his son, born of a woman, born under the law, to redeem those under the law, that we may receive adoption to sonship. So what the place is basically saying is, we too, when we are in the world, we didn't know right from left. We were also like we are under the grip of the enemy. The enemy will sort of run our life with maybe one superstition or one tradition or the other. We were basically like this guy Tunde. Instead of us to grow up to like upgrade ourselves to that level of becoming a son, a lot of us prefer to remain a child. Just as this place is saying that the heir, as long as he's underage, as long as he is a child, he refuses to grow up, he refuses to do those things to upgrade his life, he will always be under the enemy. He will always be oppressed. He will not be able to come into his estate. He will not be able to rule and reign as a son should. The difference between a child? A child, is you can toss the child up and down. You can tell him this is white and red and this is white and it is red, and he will believe you. But a son, someone that's come to maturity, it's hard for you to, to be turning him up and down. It's hard for you to be pushing him up and down. So every man, oh, another thing, please. If you are Tunde, please don't take offense. It's just a name I used. So for all the Tundes out there, please don't be angry. It's just a name that I picked. So for every person that is like this guy Tunde, that refuses to upgrade his or her own self, you should be ready to be pushed around. You should be ready to be turned to a boy or boy. Because if he had, bettered his life, I'm sure this woman will not have the opportunity to be running him up and down as she was doing. But because he refuses to, well, he put himself indirectly under the woman's control. And another thing also is this story of Mephibosheth in the book of Second Samuel. Let me see. I'm coming. 2 Samuel 9 to the end. 2 Samuel 9 to the end. Mephibosheth was, the son of Jonathan. But what happened? Because the guy was crippled, he could not, come into his estate. He could not rule as he was supposed to rule. If you read that place from 2 Samuel 9 to the end, you will see that King David, being a good man, being a friend to Jonathan, because he was Jonathan's friend, they were like brother, his conscience, struck him one day and he asked, is anyone still left of the house of Saul to who I can show kindness for Jonathan's sake? So as he asked about, one of Saul's servants named Ziba was now brought to him, and he asked this man. Ziba was a servant in the household of Saul. He asked him, Ziba, is there anybody that I can show kindness to? And this servant Ziba said, yes, there is still a son of Jonathan, though he is lame in both foot. So the king now asked him, where is he? He says, in the house of Micah, son of Amiah. So the king now ordered that they go and bring Mephibosheth. And Mephibosheth now came before the king. And, he prostrated, he honored the king. And the king, David now said, I'm going to, show you kindness because of your father Jonathan. I will give you all the land that belonged to your grandfather Saul. I'm reading from verse 7. And you will always eat at my table. Mephibosheth bowed down and said, what is your servant that you notice a dead dog like me? Then the king summoned Ziba, Saul's steward, and said to him, I have given your master's grandson everything that belonged to Saul and his family. You and your sons and your servant are to farm the land for him and bring in the crops so that your servant grandson may be provided for. You see what the king did there? He came now and restored this guy's authority. This was Mephibosheth that was lame. That instead of being the one to rule, to look over his first father's affairs, he couldn't do so. And if you read further, you will see that he was actually, depending on the mercies of the people he was living with. His grandfather's servant, Ziba, actually had 15 sons and 20 servants. A servant in his father's house, in his grandfather's house, had 15 sons and 20 servants. And here is he, a prince. If a servant could have 20 servants, what about him that is the son, that is the heir? He would have, have the run of the whole place. But because, of the situation, the condition he was in, he didn't, he wasn't that privileged to now rule. Until David now came. Just like until Christ came, we too, we were under this oppression of the enemy. It's not that we've received Christ that we now can rule and reign as we are supposed to. And then what happened? The king now told the servant Ziba that they are to farm the land for him. They are to, take charge of, they are to look after the farmland, bring in the crops, so that the guy, this Mephibosheth, will always be provided for. So now, King David, reinstated this guy as the Lord of his, of his father's house. And what now happened? He was now, eating with King David every time. He always ate at King David's table like one of the king's son. In 11, you see that King David now, because of the love for his friend Jonathan, always make sure that this man, Mephibosheth, always have a place in his own table to eat. Do you know what it means to eat in a king's table? Very few people had that privilege. So that now tells you that now his full princeship has been restored. He no longer has to, depend on the mercies of those around him. Just like this guy Tunde, imagine if, you upgrade his life. Maybe he has one kind of skill, or, he has a kind of education that affords him the opportunity to, to work in a very good company, or to even own his own company. This brother's wife would not, be able to look down on him and order him about as a boy. So for every one of us to really be that big boy, that big girl, it behooves us to upgrade our standard of life. It behooves us to upgrade, our situations in life, so that we can all really be able to, have that influence, that relevance. So we should rise up and become that big boy, that big girl indeed. I pray God will help all of us in the name of Jesus. Because no man can fail without his participation. And no man can become a success as well without his participation. Yes, God holds our destiny, but also we have, a role to play, a lot of role to play in that area. If you refuse to do those things, that will better your standards in life, then indirectly you are telling the devil that you want to be a failure. So whatever it takes, whatever we need, to become that person we should be in life, we should start, going about doing those things. May God bless all of us richly. Thank you for listening to this broadcast. Please, if you are watching me for the first time, do consider subscribing. Give me a thumbs up, a like, and even share if you have been blessed by this. And for all my other subscribers, I wish you guys a Merry Christmas and a very glorious day. So until I come on your way again, be blessed. Thank you all so much. Bye.